What does it take for one voice to move the world? Is it talent, luck, or something deeper? The kind of truth that can only come from a heart that has endured pain, loss, and hope all at once? Far away from the glittering lights of Hollywood in a quiet coastal town in the Philippines, a young boy named Miguel Santos once discovered the answer. He had no stage, no microphone, and no cheering crowd. What he had was a voice, pure and unpolished, echoing through narrow streets where neighbors paused from their daily struggles to listen. His songs carried warmth, like a prayer wrapped in melody, giving comfort to fishermen after long nights at sea, and 2 children falling asleep under tin roofs. For Miguel, music was never about applause. It was survival. His father, a tricycle driver who returned home every night weary and bruised from long hours, would often ask his son to sing while he rested. Miguel's soft lullabies seemed to ease his father's pain. When illness struck the household and medical bills grew heavier than the family could bear, Miguel's songs became the only light in the room. His father, before his final breath, whispered words Miguel would never forget. "Your voice is a gift, Anak. Share it with the world." Those words became Miguel's compass. Even when the world told him his dreams were too big for a boy with no money, no connections, and no formal training, he held on to them. He sang in crowded markets, at fiestas, in church choirs, anywhere people would listen. With each note, he imagined lifting his father's spirit higher, carrying him along every melody. Years later, that same boy, now a young man, found himself thousands of miles from home, standing at the edge of the biggest stage of his life. America's Got Talent, 2025. The lights were blinding, the silence deafening. Every heartbeat carried memories of sacrifice and love. And as Miguel stepped forward, clutching the microphone with trembling hands, he knew he was not standing there alone. He carried with him the hopes of his mother, the prayers of his community, and the promise he had made to his father. And in that moment, one question lingered in the air. Would his voice finally touch the world? The theater was still. A hush swept across the audience as Miguel stood beneath the dazzling lights. The microphone felt heavy in his hand, as if it carried the weight of his entire life. His eyes searched the crowd, but all he could see was a blur of faces waiting, curious, expectant. Behind the judges' table, Simon Cowell leaned back, arms crossed, expression unreadable. It was the kind of silence that could break the strongest of hearts. Miguel closed his eyes and took a breath. In that breath, he heard echoes of home, the sound of ocean waves crashing against the shore, his mother's gentle prayers and his father's voice urging him to sing without fear. And then, he began. The first notes of The Power of Love rose from his chest like a trembling whisper, fragile but honest. The audience leaned in. There was no music track, no grand orchestra, just Miguel's raw, unshaken voice cutting through the silence. His tone deepened, steady and sure, carrying with it a river of emotion that no words could ever fully describe. Each line seemed to reach beyond the theater, pulling memories out of the shadows. In the balcony, a woman wiped her eyes. A young couple held hands tighter. Even the restless quiet of the audience transformed into stillness, as if the whole world was caught inside his song. And as the chorus soared, Miguel lifted his head. His voice, no longer just his on-it, was his father's strength, his mother's sacrifices, his homeland's spirit. His pain and love collided in every note, creating a sound too pure to ignore. The song filled the air like a confession, like a prayer that belonged to everyone in the room. The judges exchanged glances. Something unusual was happening. This was not just a performance. It was a story unfolding in real time, told through the trembling power of one young man's voice. And at the center of it all, Simon Cowell, the man known for his iron heart, shifted in his seat. For the first time in years, his eyes softened. The walls around him were beginning to crack. The theater was no longer just a stage, it had become a sanctuary. Miguel's voice filled every corner, echoing through the rafters and settling deep into the hearts of those who listened. Each note rose higher, trembling with both fragility and strength, like a bird learning to fly yet soaring with purpose. Among the thousands in that vast hall, one man sat motionless, his reputation as a critic carved in stone. Simon Cowell, the judge feared for his unflinching honesty, had heard thousands of voices before, but this was different. As Miguel reached the heart of the chorus, something shifted in Simon's chest. At first it was only a flicker, a quiet tug at a memory long tucked away. He tried to resist it, leaning back in his chair, but the sound cut deeper. Each lyric carried a tenderness that pierced through years of walls built to keep emotions hidden. For Simon, it wasn't just a song anymore, it was a reminder. He saw flashes of his own parents' faces he could never see again, voices he would never hear. The melody pulled those memories out of the shadows, laying them gently in front of him. His breath caught, his throat tightened. And then, for the first time in many years, Simon Cowell's eyes glistened with tears. He blinked quickly as though trying to push them back, but the truth was undeniable. A single tear escaped, rolling down his cheek, caught by the camera in front of millions watching. It was a moment no one expected, the toughest judge undone by the pure sincerity of a young singer's voice. Around him, the audience felt it too. Mothers thought of their children, sons thought of their parents, strangers thought of loves lost, and dreams still waiting.